Hi, this is Eric Stoller for the Eric Stoller Show and the Biohacking Miracles series. I'm here today with Barry Warrington, CEO, President of Energy Lounger. Barry, thank you for being here. I know we just quickly met, and he said, "Hey, I can come into the studio." So thank you for doing this last minute. Barry's actually going to be at one of the conferences we're putting on this fall. But first, Barry, tell us a little about you before how you got into the whole world of red light and wellness, which you've been in for many, many years. But share us your kind of your journey and how it brought you here today.
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having me here. It's great to be here. The journey really started, my mum was a midwife.
Okay.
And being a midwife working long hours, she used to get back pain. And she would ask me to walk on her back as one of her children.
Okay.
So I was not a chiropractor, but you could certainly hear the cracks as I was getting on her back. But she always told me it felt good. So that sort of got me into the interest of biology and anatomy and physiology. So I did a few therapy courses in deep tissue massage, and then I took myself off and studied exercise physiology. Fast forward, I was building a wellness resort looking to incorporate red light therapy, was looking around at different devices. To be honest, didn't know a lot about it back then. But then we had this little virus pop out in the planet, and it gave me time to read about 8,000 scientific papers on red light therapy, frequencies, duration, and taking that knowledge and the knowledge of ergonomics and human performance, blended red light with an ergonomic lounger, and therefore we have the Energy Lounger.
There you go. And then your background being in sports science really gives you kind of really, how can I help the athlete really get that edge, right? Because they're all looking for it. And how are you finding it, like through red light with recovery? What have you found with recovery? Because I'm sure that's one of the biggest issues with athletes.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's been highlighted time and time again. The more that we can get our athletes on the red light lounges for the 20-minute protocol, the faster they've recovered. It's easily measured by their performance coaches, and they're getting those little incremental gains each week that the other competitors are not getting. So pre-season, they're already at an advantage. And then during the season, if they're getting injured, the injury is not as bad, and then the recovery from that injury is much faster.
So are you finding, like, for anybody, whether whether an athlete or just in general, like I know myself, I use some red light products and I work out on a regular basis, and I just find in general, my overall energy levels, my pain levels are down. I always, this hurts, but I find less and less that goes on.
Yep.
What are some of like the findings that you had, like the whole, if you want to maybe explain like the whole medical side, or that really what it impacts to give people that edge?
Yeah. So from the medical side, the medical journals have already got a lot of literature on this.
Mm-hmm.
So there was literature on particular nanometers of light, for example, 630 nanometers, 850 nanometers, 940 nanometers, on different elements within our biology that would aid in recovery. So what I was witnessing is, if we can combine those three frequencies together and give that specific treatment dose, then it's not necessarily the pain or the recovery we're trying to address. It's right back at the cellular level of cellular inflammation. And if we can control that inflammation at a cell level, all the other things upstream from that don't exist. So that pain, whether it's muscular pain, arthritis pain, or from an injury like a car accident, or in the sports world from an impact,
Sure.
then you're addressing it at that level. So you're getting really accelerated recovery that just was unheard of before. When I first started, we used to use rest ice compression elevation.
Of course, right.
20 years later, we don't use ultrasound anymore, or very rarely do we use ultrasound. We're using lasers, we're using red light therapy, we're using shockwave, which is more powerful, and PMMF, of course.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So, my question to you when it comes to the lounger, and you came up with this design, because I know one of the things, a lot of the devices are all like, built like a tanning
Yeah.
bed. We had one in our office. In fact, we I was talking about is I had a woman get into one in a closed room, and she was quite heavy, and she couldn't get out, and she couldn't lift the arm, so she panicked, and so we actually removed the top for that particular reason. So tell us a little about the design and obviously why you guys kind of came up with this type of lounge.
Yeah, so I've worked a lot in functional medicine anti-aging clinics, and when we're working in those clinics, we get to see a range of conditions. But one thing that was pretty consistent is we were giving a lot of people IV drips. So when you're giving someone an IV drip, you need to be able to access the IV, they need to be able to stand up, go to the toilet, and you've sort of got them there for like 30, 40 minutes, depending on the length of the drip. So by designing an ergonomic lounger, we can allow your anatomy, your biology, to relax. And when we get you to relax and we're giving you that light, you're feeling in a very calm and comfortable state.
Sure.
In sports science, we would say to athletes, hey, rest and digest. But in red light therapy, I say rest and recharge. So we want you to be super, super comfortable in that ergonomic position. And it's very common that most people will be asleep within under 3 minutes of getting on the lounger.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, so that functionality of being not just a red light device, but a chair that you can then layer treatments on. So we are often seeing energy lounges stacked with devices like BrainTap or Sarah systems, oxygen delivery or Nano-V for a breathable or hydrogen.
Yes.
So it's still that functional piece of furniture. While you're getting your red light, you can add in additional elements. So the true BioStack, where we are the platform,
yes,
and you can stack on top of that.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. And again, I know there's so many people using it because, again, I find also when you stack different things together, like this morning I did a PMF, some red light, and I did the hydration all at the same time. Did it make me feel any better? Well, I can tell you what, throughout the day, as I was saying earlier, I have like a sustained energy, which I like.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. This is Eric Stoller here with the Eric Stoller Show. I'm here with Barry Warrington from Energy Lounge, and we'll be right back. Hi, this is Eric Stoller for the Eric Stoller Show, Biohacking Miracles. I'm here with Barry Warrington, CEO of Energy Lounger. So we were picking back where we left off. We were talking a little bit about biostacking.
Yeah.
And using the Energy Lounger as that platform. So tell me, what are some of the things that you have seen in like a stacking performance in terms of like recovery time and reduced recovery time?
Well, I'm really lucky that I get to do trade shows with a variety of different companies. So we're often referred to as the Red Light Collective.
Okay.
And in that collective, we have companies like Mitolux, which is a vitamin D lamp, Sarah System, which is using a gut-brain access, Power Plate for vibrational technologies. So when we go to a show, of course, we're not a practice, so we don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah, of course.
But we know the number one reason for going to the doctor in America is back pain.
Yes.
So you can pretty much guarantee you're going to have someone at that show that's going to have a bad back. And we can stack these treatments. And one of the stories I like to tell is I was at a spa conference called iSpa. And when I was walking out, I saw a lady, and she was obviously in very high level of pain. And I walked up and introduced myself, and I said, would you mind coming to our booth? And we had Energy Lounger and we had Power Plate. And I said, I only need 20 minutes. And we took her from a level 10 pain to a 0 in under 20 minutes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And that type of example is because she was so bad, she was so inflamed, that it was really obvious the change in her own body in that short period of time. So I get to see miracles like that at every trade show we do, and we do a lot of trade shows. But when I go and tell chiropractors and physiotherapists this, of course, they should be skeptical because they didn't see it firsthand. But when you talk about addressing that inflammation at the cell level, of course you should expect quick results because it's immediate when it's at that level.
Absolutely. Now, are you finding even with the lounger, it's having effects on, because there's a lot of the devices saying there are effects on people with autism, some of it with Parkinson's, with Alzheimer's, dementia. And again, I know because some of the different devices are transcranial.
Yep.
But with the lounger, have you seen some improvement in the cognitive effects?
So I really wanted to focus on that musculoskeletal side of it.
Got it.
Because I think there's some amazing devices, and we've talked about a few of them beforehand, but Sarah, who runs the Sarah system, is literally a brain scientist. So I rely on her device to be layered with the Energy Lounger as if we're addressing those conditions. But we have seen really good results with people with diseases like MS, for example, where they're coming in and just it might be in a facility where they don't have a lot of other devices.
Sure.
So there is definitely improvements because, again, systemically, we're treating the whole body for inflammation.
Yes, absolutely.
The body will know what to do with that wherever it wants to be directed. So, yeah.
No, I was going to say, and that's the big thing that I think most people don't get. It's all about the inflammation, which causes the chronic disease, which causes these things like dementia, the diabetes, the heart disease. I just talked to a police officer today. He's 38 years old. We were talking because I told him about my weight loss. He goes, I got to lose 60 pounds. I go, how much do you weigh? I don't know. I said, you know your height? Well, okay, he knows his height. I said, he said, I come home at the end of every day. I'm tired. Are you in the field? He goes, no, I'm on a desk job.
Mm.
But he's not that old. He's in his late 30s.
Yeah.
So there you go. He's probably the food, the sugars, and he says all the guys in the police department, same thing. And what I said to them, I said, what you guys need is a little biohacking center in the police force. Same thing like the fire department. So I could see where the lounger is perfect because it's not like you got to get into a bed and you got to close it, which a lot of people don't like. And it's again, like we've had some portable devices. You just got to lie down.
Yep.
And they can lie down for their 20 and they feel good, and we send them out at peak performance.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, one thing people ask me at the show is, should I be naked? And of course I say to them, look, it's up to you. We are at a trade show, however. So all joking aside, the infrared will go through a thin layer of clothing.
Yes.
But the red light, I do want to stress, should be at skin level. Again, we're looking at that musculoskeletal benefit of red light and infrared therapy. So we're not trying to say to people that you shouldn't have maximum skin exposure under red light. We're just saying we're using this as an application.
Absolutely.
So in a private setting, in a private room, yes, you can take your clothes off. We have a red light therapy blanket being developed that will be launching next month that can be put over the body. So if you want to be in your tidy whities, you can just wear the blanket over the top.
There you go.
For the skin benefits.
Of course, of course. And I know, and if you're at a trade show, no, it's not appropriate to get naked. But I will have a story, but we'll save it for another time, where we snuck in at A4M. Before it started, my friend said, yeah, get in the bag. There's nobody here. And I'm like, you couldn't get it started. I said, I think we're getting out of here.
Hilarious.
Yeah, but no, that's all good. And so let me ask you, if somebody wanted to find out how to connect with you, get more about Energy Lounger, how do we make that happen?
Pretty easy. EnergyLounger.com is our website. On there, we have all the contact information. My personal LinkedIn, Barry Warrington, is my LinkedIn name, so it's easy to find me. And we're really, as I said, we're going to be exhibiting with you guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be at the AIMS conference. It's going to be in October 23rd through 25th at the Amrit Resort, the Amrit Ocean Resort. You can go to bostonbiolife.com to get more info, or Champion Mindset events. Barry is going to be one of the exhibitors there, so you get firsthand. If you're planning on coming and you can't get to see a place before October, I would hope before October you can hook up with Barry. But just know, right, that he's going to be at our show, and we look forward to learning more about Energy Lounger and all the amazing things they're doing. So if you're a practitioner, maybe you run a functional or regenerative medicine clinic, maybe you run a med spa, maybe you're looking to get into the business and you want to start somewhere, The Energy Lounger is an amazing product. What I like about products like this is it's very easy to use. We had an $80,000 red light bed, and it's cumbersome. Somebody has to be there. You got to open it up. It's heavy. It's a little bit, intimidating. It could be, right? Where this, you lay on it, it's get on the lounge. It's lounging. So I think it's amazing. Hey, anything else you want to share with people? Because obviously some people don't know all the benefits of red light, or saying, hey, oh, it's another thing. Because what's happening is, we know now everybody is creating red light product.
Yeah.
When I go on the infomercial, that product, I'm sure, and selling it cheap is what you're getting. So can you really address first about that, the quality of the light, and then really like why people need to connect with you or Champion to make sure they come to learn more about Energy Lounger?
Yeah, so definitely not all light is created equal. You have different outputs. So these are considered the energy output from You have different applications. Some people are using red and infrared in sequence, so like a zebra pattern. We chose, when we were doing the design with the engineers, to come through a triple core. That means you've got a concentrated dose during your treatment time, and then the duration that's set 20 minutes. So that, if you think of red light like a vitamin, we're trying to give you the optimal, no, we're not trying, we are giving you the optimal dose of light at a particular session that you will absorb. What I would say is, we've taken injuries that, again, back to miracles, that people have carried for 25 years.
Yes.
And disturbed their sleep, changed the quality of life. And because we have used the correct evidence, scientific data to generate our protocol, again, in 20 minutes, we can resolve a very old injury. And this particular person was actually in the biohacking space. They had their own devices. They'd been to many, many trade shows, tried many, many different devices. But that ergonomics, that dose is all working together to get the fastest possible outcome.
Love it. Love it. So there you go. If you want to find out more, where do we go?
EnergyLounger.com. On our website, we also have locations where the businesses that have bought an Energy Lounger that do want to be published online, their clinics, their centers, their chiropractor offices are all listed there. But yeah, we also have a showroom in Miami. So when we're not on the road going to these different trade shows, we can let people experience it there too.
Excellent. So you can go to the trade show and hook up with Barry. There's tons of shows. Again, he's going to be at our show, the Aesthetics Integrative Medicine show. Maybe some of the others we have popping up might be a fit. But also go to the website. If you're here in South Florida, you're planning, come to the showroom. And again, I want to thank you for doing this. I appreciate you coming at a moment's notice. We're on the phone yesterday in Dallas, and here he is. He's a man of action, Barry Warrington, CEO of Energy Lounger. This is Eric Stoller for the Eric Stoller Show and the Biohacking Miracles, saying we'll see you next time on another episode of the Eric Stoller Show.